Yeah, so if you haven't heard me do this before, going into each major of the year, I kind of like to take a little bit more of like a statistical, stats, data-driven way of trying to predict, more like looking at the trends rather than anything else. And one of the best ways to start this off is using the world rankings, or particularly what I've done this year is use data golf because of the LIV and PGA split and all the world ranking hoo-ha and who's actually good or not. So anyway, so 10 of the last 11 winners have all come within the top 33 in the world, which is, again, we've seen this every time. The best players win the majors. It's not, I'm not telling you anything new
that one's
here.
Not science.
Yeah, I can't really break that down in any fancy way. Yeah, I know. It's exciting, isn't it? So going into that, there's one of the things I love about the Open is all the other majors, the first thing when it comes about the age and the profile of the player that wins, it's always about their age 28 and under. It's always, and they're young and they're all this and the other. The Open is just completely opposite. It gives you two different types of winners, and 7 of the last 11 winners have been 32 or older.
Wow.
There we go.
Which I love that because it
Come
just
on, the 30s.
exactly. It makes it seem like they're so like,
on.
if you're 28, you're done.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
You're
but
cooked.
then the other 4 winners outside of that, 3 of those have been 25 or younger. So it kind of gives you like 2 profiles of golfer. It's like this maybe like matured, played maybe 7, 8, 9 Opens, but then also like these young guns like a Jordan Spieth that's come through and a Morikawa and those kind of guys. I think the only really one that's come in the last few years, which just doesn't fit, was Smith in St Andrews, and he was 28, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
but that was Rory's tournament, and he threw it away. So
yeah. So he should have. Yeah, he should have done it.
He would have fit.
Yeah, exactly. So with all of that taken into account, we're left with McIlroy, Obear, Fleetwood, Harman, Matsuyama, Finau, Tom Kim, Russell Henley, Keegan Bradley, Tyrrell Hatton, Jason Day, Minwoo Lee, and Shane Lowry. So there's like a mix of those 32 pluses and those 25 unders.
Okay.
Wow.
So
What a list, by
one of
the
the
way.
it's not bad,
Yeah.
but a different list to all the other tournaments and the majors I've done, which is great.
No Brooks.
No Brooks,
No Bryson.
no Bryson.
Wow. Sorry, Kieran.
Not young or old enough. So going into how they've played this year, 11 of the last 11 winners have all had 4 top 10 finishes of that season.
11 of the last 11.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that has to happen. And also within that, 8 of the last 10 have also had a win that year. So taking those two together, that's dropped us down to 5 players, which is Rory McIlroy, which is Tommy Fleetwood, which is Hideki Matsuyama, which is Minwoo Lee, who just kind of sneaks in with that win in the DP in Australia at like the end of last year, but it was the same season.
Yeah.
And Shane Lowry, because he won the Zurich.
Wow.
So say thank you to Rory for that one.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Now, one of the biggest things I just kind of obviously want to kind of take the golfing element into this as well. Like, I don't want it just to be about their age and all this kind of stuff. And one of the biggest things when I was looking at the previous episodes or versions of the Open at Royal Troon, scrambling was just huge. Like, it was probably the most striking characteristic or factor you've got to have about winning around that golf course. So looking back in 2016, the top 7 all came inside like the top 20 within scrambling for that week. In 2004, 6 of the first 7 players home all were in the top 12 scrambling of that week.
Right.
And Justin Leonard, when he won in 97, ranked 2nd on the PGA Tour in scrambling for the season.
Were you born?
That year I was born. I wouldn't have been born then
No.
because it would have been earlier in the year and not in the August. So I wasn't alive. So well done, Justin. I didn't have time to tell you well done then because I was in a petri dish probably at that point. So that makes sense. I'm IVF if that doesn't make any sense to people.
For God's sake.
So, taking those 3 names, I've gone and looked at the scrambling stats for the PGA Tour for this year, and there's 3 players that all rank within the top 12. And that is Fleetwood, Hideki, and Rory McIlroy.
Great.
Okay. So, one of the other biggest things...
we can see where this is going, can't we?
Oh, no.
One of the other biggest things is that actually in the last 11 Opens, only one had previously won an Open before. So the last 10 winners, they've all been brand new Open champions, which means that Rory McIlroy is knocked off this list. and it does leave Tommy Fleetwood and Hideki.
Wow.
Now,
We could have done this without all the stats. Who Jacob thinks is going to win the tournament?
do you know what? I've literally got to this point now, and I've done the top 12 scrambling, and I've written in the one of the last 11 winners each has an open win, and I've realised that Hideki should go down, but I've not even written Hideki's name because I've forced it into Tommy Fleetwood. So I'm going to come up with something right on the top of my head, which is basically giving away who I think is going to win. But there basically is as well a fact of like 8 of the last 11 winners or something have had a 9th place finish or better at the Open. Now, obviously, Tommy has done that a few times in more recent history. Hideki has done it once, and he did it in Muirfield at 2013. He had T6. Apart from that, he's not come close. So, with that being the case, the winner of the British Open, the Open, whatever you want to call it, will be my favourite golfer, Fairway Jesus, Mr. Tommy Fleetwood.
Wow. Well done, Tommy.
Well done, Tommy.
Well done,
Congratulations.
Tommy. I think let's go for narrative as well. Finno back on the bag this week at Scottish Open. They're going to come back together again. They're going to tear it down. Tommy's just going to rip it up. He's going to be scrambling. He's going to be hitting fairways. It's going to be beautiful. We all know he should get an Open at some point. He deserves an Open. It's his land. I mean, not quite that part of the world, but he's used to that part of that golf. I won't be lying if there's a little bit of bias towards it, but I really like how he ranks out. This is the tournament that every year it comes around, I have the best chance I feel for Tommy to win, and I think it'll be a popular pick.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like very popular.